We arrived in a community somewhere in a very remote area in Sudan. And we were not allowed to meet or interact with any woman in that community. The women were not even, like, there was no register which knew which woman existed in this community. They knew themselves, the community knew it by themselves, but there was no way to document or to give them any, identification or access. They could not access resources by themselves. They could not, there was a very, very customary, traditional way of life that we were not allowed to have any interaction. Even myself as a woman was not allowed to have that conversation with the women because we would somehow pollute the community. And it was just fascinating in many ways, because even when a woman lost her husband, the hut, the doorway to the hut, which used to be into the central, court, would then be changed to face, they would seal the door and make the door face the rest of the, sort of the vast lands, the open lands, and not backyard. Yeah. But it was, you're looking here at communities in very remote areas where there's really nothing happening. So the door of the hut would then be turned to face. And it really struck me, because this was like, it was a non-starter. It was very hard for us to come and start talking about giving women an opportunity to become economically active, to participate. But then eventually we found one of their own community elders, who was a woman, who we felt would be a nice, sort of like one of our channels to be able to gain the confidence. So because she was elderly, and because she was respected, and because she was seen as sort of the mother of this community, we started, having those small conversations with her. And then it was really left to the Sudanese to speak with the Sudanese. Not us, not anybody else, but really between them. And, and like 5 years when I went back, there was a register and there was identity documents. They were being actually given identity documents, which was the first step. And then, a few years later, we went back and they were doing home processing of, tomatoes. And there was a lot of excitement activities. They were still doing it with women alone, but it was really, really, for me, that always stayed with me, that it can happen. But I just want to emphasize one thing. Development and agriculture development takes time, and community development takes time. So, sometimes we want quick fix solutions. We really need to be patient, because it can take even 20 years before you actually see a change. But those changes, if they're done well, can be lasting change.